Good morning, students. In human physiology, today we are going to discuss digestion and absorption as our chapter, in which we have to discuss these subtopics in detail. Introduction of the digestive system, the structure and histology of the alimentary canal, the different digestive glands, whatever we come across in this system, and the enzymes, whatever release and their function, process of digestion, absorption and disorders related with the digestive system. These are the subtopics we have to discuss in detail. First of all, let us see the introductory part. Food. Food is the basic requirement to every living organism, as it is providing energy. Without energy, no living organism can survive. Along with food, water is also playing a vital role in performing so many metabolic activities, and also it prevents dehydration in the body. When we observe the food, food is comprised with 5 components. They are carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals. Carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals collectively form a complete food by which we get energy. Of these 5 components, carbohydrates, proteins and fats are complex macromolecular substances. They should break down into simple forms. They must be absorbable into the blood. Whereas vitamins and minerals, they are readily available in the food in micro forms only. That is why there is no need of breaking down. Straight away they get absorbed into the blood without undergoing any biochemical reaction. Carbohydrates and proteins, fats are non-diffusible macromolecular biosubstances. They should break down into absorbable micronutrients. That kind of conversion of macromolecules into micromolecules, conversion of non-absorbable substances into absorbable substances itself is digestion. The process of digestion is accomplished by mechanical events and biochemical events. Mastication and peristaltic movements are the mechanical events that we come across while the process of digestion take place in the body. Different kinds of chemical substances in the name of enzymes produced from digestive glands. They involve in simplification of or breakdown of carbohydrates, proteins and fats in the body. In such a way, chemical events and mechanical events helpful in conversion of complex non-diffusible substances into simple diffusible or absorbable substances. Such process is called digestion. The digestion process is carried out by alimentary canal and digestive glands. Collectively we call that as digestive system. Digestive system. The digestive system is with alimentary canal and digestive glands. These two collectively carry out the total process of digestion. Now let us see in detail the structure of alimentary canal and the histology of the wall of the alimentary canal. Now we will discuss in detail the alimentary canal. Alimentary canal is a long tubular coil structure. It begins with mouth and ends with anus. It is a long coiled tubular structure, begins with mouth, ends with anus. The mouth is guarded by upper and lower lips. It is guarded by upper and lower lips. When we see the structure of the mouth and buccal cavity, mouth opens into buccal cavity. Mouth opens into buccal cavity by mouth. Buccal cavity is a wide chamber. It is get separated by nasal chamber by horizontally extended structure called palate. Palate is a plate-like structure which is differentiating the buccal cavity or buccal chamber with nasal chamber. The palate is a structure anteriorly it is with bony structure which is called hard palate. It is hard palate comprising with so many bony structures called palatine rugae or bony structures present in hard palate, whereas the posterior part is soft palate. It is a smooth muscular structure and it is hanging like a lobe-like structure into the next part of the alimentary canal, that is pharynx. This lobe-like structure is called uvula. Uvula is a lobe-like smooth muscular structure. It is hanging into the next part of the alimentary canal, that is pharynx. When we say this buccal cavity is provided with two structures. One is teeth, the second one is tongue. The arrangement of teeth in buccal cavity is called dentition. The arrangement of teeth in the buccal cavity is dentition. There are 32 teeth present in the buccal cavity, 16 on the upper jaw, 16 on lower jaw. These are with different structures and shapes and perform different functions. As they are appearing with different shapes and structures and performing different functions, we can call such kind of teeth arrangement as heterodont type of dentition. Heterodont type of dentition. As they are in different shape and structures, accordingly they are performing the functions. According to the structure, we can differentiate them into four kinds. One is incisors, canines, premolars and molars. Incisors I coded by, canines C, premolars P and molars P. In half of the upper jaw, when we see ICPM, incisors, canines, premolars and molars. When we see in upper jaw, there are 2, 1, 2, 3. 2 incisors on off side of the upper jaw, 1 canine, 2 premolars and 3 molars. In the same way, in lower jaw, ICPM by ICPM, that is 2123 by 213. Means 2123, total 2 plus 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 on half of the upper jaw and 8 on half of the lower jaw, and remaining of also 8 plus 8, that is 16 in upper jaw and 16 in lower jaw. Total 32 teeth present in the buccal cavity. When we say these incisors, canines and premolars and molars, incisors, they helpful in cutting the food material, whereas canines for tearing the food material or piercing the food material. Premolars and molars take part in chewing the food material or grinding the food material. Next one, the arrangement of teeth or the development of teeth in the lifetime in human body. When we observe in the lifetime of humans, the development of teeth or formation of teeth occur for 2 times. One is in childhood. The teeth which develop in childhood they are called milk teeth. Milk teeth form in childhood, whereas which are replaced by permanent teeth when we get adolescence. When we get puberty, the milk teeth are replaced by permanent teeth. Milk teeth are replaced by permanent teeth. Permanent teeth are 20 to 32, milk teeth are 20. Here the dental formula is 2123 by 2123. Here it is 2102 by 2102. Means the number of incisors same, canines same. There are no premolars and molars are 2 only. Means in upper half of the jaw 5 teeth and lower half of the jaw 5 teeth. Totally on upper jaw you can see 10 teeth and lower 10, total 20 teeth we can observe in childhood, which are called milk teeth or deciduous teeth. Deciduous teeth. In such a way, in the lifespan, if teeth form for 2 times, we can call such kind of dentition as diphyodont dentition. Diphyodont dentition. So previously we have seen the heterodont dentition as they appear in different shape and structures. Now in the lifespan we got 2 types of teeth, it is called diphyodont dentition. Apart from this, even we can see the arrangement of teeth in humans in such a way that is called thecodont dentition. Teeth always embedded in sockets of jaws. Teeth embedded in socket of jaws. When we see the structure of each tooth, it is broadly divided into three parts. The first one is crown, which is visible. The second one is neck. It is covered by gums, and the posterior part totally it is embedded in the socket of the jaw, which is root. Visible part is crown and gums covered area is neck, and whatever the tooth portion embedded in the socket of jaw, that is root. The total tooth, the bulk of the tooth is made up of a substance called dentin, which is mesodermal in origin. Dentin is forming the total bulk of the tooth. Such dentin is mesodermal in origin. Such dentin is secreted by a kind of cells called odontoblasts. Odontoblasts secrete the dentin which form the bulk of the tooth. Inside the tooth, there is a cavity called pulp cavity. This pulp cavity is filled with pulp which is provided with number of odontoblasts, nerve fibers, lymph capillaries and blood capillaries. Blood capillaries, lymph capillaries, nerve fibers and odontoblasts present inside the pulp cavity. When we see this tooth, it is embedded in the socket of jaw which is covered by a hard substance which is called cementum. This cementum is again surrounded by a specific kind of tissue. It is called periodontal membrane. Periodontal membrane. So, outside periodontal membrane followed by cementum, inside there is a dentin layer, inside this cavity there is a pulp. This is the structure of the tooth. The visible portion is called crown. This crown is covered by a white colored substance which is called enamel. Enamel is the hardest substance in the human body which is secreted by a specific kind of cells. They are called ameloblasts. Ameloblasts secrete enamel which cover the crown of the tooth as it appears in white color. These ameloblasts are mesodermal in origin, ectodermal in origin, whereas the odontoblasts are mesodermal in origin, ameloblasts are ectodermal origin. Hence we say the tooth is always ecto and mesodermal in origin. This is the structure of the tooth. Such teeth will embed in the socket of the jaws, hence we call such kind of arrangement as thecodont dentition. Now let us see the second structure that we come across in the buccal cavity is tongue. Tongue is muscular, thick, sticky structure attached to floor of buccal cavity with a fold of skin which is called frenulum. Frenulum is a fold of skin. With the help of this frenulum, tongue attached to the floor of the buccal cavity. This is muscular, thick and sticky structure. When we see this tongue, it is free at its anterior end, and on the surface of the tongue there are a large number of papillae present. Papillae present. Some of the papillae provided with taste buds. Some of the papillae provided with taste buds. They are, first one is fungiform taste buds, the second one is filiform taste buds, and third one is the circumvallate taste buds. Fungiform taste buds present on the tip of the tongue and anterior margins of the tongue, whereas filiform present on the surface of the tongue and circumvallate present at base of the tongue and posterior margins of the tongue. They helpful in tasting the food material. The tongue which is freely moving in the buccal cavity, that helps in better mixing of the food with saliva during digestion. Hence, we can consider the tongue as the universal toothbrush. So, these are the structures that we come across in buccal cavity. So, mouth opens into buccal cavity continues into a narrow tubular structure which is called pharynx. Pharynx is a narrow tubular structure which continues into a long thin-walled tubular structure called esophagus. Esophagus is a long tubular structure which continues from pharynx, which pass through the neck region and total thoracic region, and by piercing through diaphragm, it enters into the left side of the abdominal cavity. There, the esophagus opens into the next part of the alimentary canal, that is stomach. The esophagus walls are lining with goblet cells which secrete mucus that play a vital role in lubrication for free flow of the food material. So, there is no role of digestion as far as esophagus concerned. It is only a passage for food material. In the same way, pharynx is a narrow, short tubular structure that meant for both the transportation of food material as far as respiratory gases. The pharynx, on one side it opens into the esophagus, on other side it opens into the trachea. The pharynx, where it opens into trachea, the opening is called glottis, and the pharynx which open into the esophagus, such opening is called gullet. Gullet is an opening at the anterior portion of esophagus, whereas glottis is an opening at the anterior portion of trachea. So, pharynx open into esophagus through gullet, the esophagus pass through the neck region, thoracic region, by piercing through diaphragm, reaches to the left part of the abdominal cavity, there it opens into the wide chamber which is called stomach. Now, let us see the structure of stomach. Stomach is a wide chamber. It is divided into 4 parts. The esophagus, where it opens into stomach, which is called cardiac stomach. The stomach, where it opens into the small intestine, this region is called pyloric stomach. Just below the cardiac stomach, we can see the fundic region of the stomach, and the middle portion of the stomach is called body. So, cardiac stomach, fundic stomach, the major portion is body, and pyloric stomach. The walls are muscular. The process of digestion takes place for some extent in the stomach. The inner walls of the stomach has been thrown into number of foldings. They are called gastric rugae, provided with gastric glands. The esophagus, where it opens into cardiac stomach, there is a sphincter. This is called gastric esophageal sphincter. Gastric esophageal sphincter or supraesophageal sphincter. It is present at the opening of esophagus into cardiac stomach, which is always regulating the flow of the food material. In the same way, the pyloric stomach opens into the next part of the small intestine, that is duodenum. This opening is also guarded by a sphincter which is called pyloric sphincter. It is also regulating the flow of the food material. Then we can see the small intestine. Small intestine is a long tubular coiled structure. It is the largest part of the alimentary canal. It is divided into 3 parts. The first one is duodenum, the middle part is jejunum, and finally we can see ileum. Duodenum is a C-shaped structure with 2 limbs. C-shaped structure with 2 limbs. This is the region where major portion of digestion takes place. And the next one is a coiled long tubule. It is called jejunum, which is followed by a long coiled narrow tubular structure is ileum. These 2 meant for absorption of digested food material. Then finally we can see the large intestine. Large intestine again divided into 3 parts. The anterior part is colon, cecum, next part is colon, next one is rectum. The small intestine, that is ileum, opens into cecum. Cecum is a blind sac-like structure with thin walls which is opening into a narrow finger-like tubular structure which is called vermicular appendix. It is a vestigial organ. Cecum has no role in digestion, but it is provided with symbiotic microbes that release an enzyme, that is cellulase, which helps in digestion of cellulose into simple sugars. And then cecum open into a long coiled tubular structure called colon. Walls are very thick and bulged, and this colon is divided into three parts. One is ascending colon, transverse colon, and descending colon, and sigmoid colon. This is ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, and sigmoid colon. This colon has no significant role in absorption. After that, this colon opens into rectum. It is a wide oval shaped structure. This rectum opens out through an opening called anus. Here at anus, we can see two sphincters. One is internal anal sphincter. The second one is external anal sphincter. Internal anal sphincter, external anal sphincter. Internal anal sphincter is made with smooth muscles, whereas external anal sphincter is made with the skeletal muscle or voluntary muscle. This is with voluntary muscle, this is involuntary muscle. These are the structures we come across along the length of alimentary canal. The alimentary canal, when we see the walls of the alimentary canal right from esophagus to rectum, is made up of 4 layers made with different kinds of tissues. The outer layer is serosa, the second layer is muscularis, and the third layer is submucosa, and inner layer is mucosa. Outer layer, if you see, this is the esophagus, like this is outer layer. Along the length of alimentary canal up to the rectum, we can see outer layer is called serosa. It is made with mesothelium plus connective tissue. And the second one is muscularis. It is made with smooth muscles. Smooth muscles differentiated into 2 membranes, 2 layers, inner circular muscles and outer side longitudinal muscles. Inner circular and outside longitudinal muscles. Submucosa, it is made with loose connective tissue or areolar connective tissue with blood capillaries, lymph capillaries, nerve fibers present in submucosa. Mucosa, it is made with goblet cells which release mucus. So, mucosa, submucosa, muscularis and serosa are the 4 layers which we can see along the length of the wall of alimentary canal right from the esophagus to anus we observe. Here at the junction of esophagus and stomach, we can see there is a gastric esophageal sphincter, and in between the stomach and duodenum pyloric sphincter, and at anus we can observe internal and external anal sphincters. In between the cecum and colon, there is a valve which is called ileocecal valve. Ileocecal valve also present at the junction of ileum and the cecum, which also regulate the flow of the material into the colon. This is the structure and histology of the alimentary canal.